Hi Cozy Adventures, welcome back to my channel. I am doing my 12 days of mini Vlogmas vlogs on the shorts here on YouTube. And I am going to be exploring various sweet and spicy and most of them boozy as well scents. A lot of them are related to angel share, like various dupes, and then things that are sort of more inspired by than duping and all of that stuff. And so I'm going to start with Kamra, which is so popular, and I have a hand-me-down bottle of it, so it's nice and aged and smells great. And so I'm wearing today Kamra, the original Kamra, and Angel Share, which I don't have a whole bottle of. I have various little precious vials of it. I don't know if you can see it does have like the official Angel Share thing on it, and it's from a Killian sample box, so it is legit. So let's compare. I also wanted to compare in this one the Inner Angel from Bath and Body Works. So I've already done a video comparing that to Angel Share, but I'm going to include that in this one too to just go over it. So Kamra, out of the Lattafa Kamras, the original one is the closest to Angel Share, but it's also really not like Angel Share. It doesn't have a boozy element, or not one that I pick up. So it has actually a very similar, let's see. I shouldn't say very similar. It has a similar spice profile, but it's so much more intense than Angel Share. Angel Share is a blast of booze and of spice, and it's sweet. Kamra's got the sweet and the spice, but it doesn't have booze, and the spice is smoother. It's not as much of a blast, even though it is a lot still. They're both long lasting. They both have a dry down that I like. There's not like a sort of like stale spice that I end up having that I don't like. And they're both like perfect holiday scents. And then Inner Angel really actually smells a lot like Angel Share in the air, in a way that surprised me. I was like, whoa, it really does have a similar scent. It just doesn't have the same texture. It doesn't have the blast feeling of the alcohol. Like you can really like feel the like liquor-y feeling that you feel when you drink liquor. It feels that sort of like both kind of intoxicating and kind of rough in a way texture. And the spice too is like really, really intense in Angel Share. In Inner Angel, all of that's smoothed out, and you get sort of the scent without all of that intensity and texture, if you can imagine that. And like the liquor element of it smells like an extract for cooking rather than the actual liquor. And then I wanted to show you that I started making this sample after I made the first part of this video while I had the camera out, because it has such great sort of sillage and projection that I was wearing like a spray on one shoulder each of Angel Share and of Kamra today, and I had like sweatshirt on, another shirt on, a big coat on, cold, and my post office attendant could smell it on me. So, and was like, ooh, what are you smelling? So anyway, I'm making a little sample for her for a little gifty, and I might make some more because all of my mail goes through my post office because I live in a small town and they don't actually deliver to my street, so I have to go to the post office. So they have to deal with all of my different little perfume samples coming in, the Mercari secondhand things that I buy. And so I think I'll probably make her a little gifty of a few different scents, and maybe I'll give the other people but their scents too. but I feel like she's the only one that really has a relationship with me. But anyway, I'm making her a camera sample, which kind of goes to show how much I like it and would want to gift it, and how well it comes off in the air for others. Hi Cozy Adventures, I am back already with an advent calendar that has perfumes in it from Dossier, which I love. So I'm gonna start sharing this with you. It's got 12 fragrances, so it's gonna be a 12-day advent calendar. Oh, this is so cute. Winter Wonderland, and it looks like you can just kind of pick. It doesn't have numbers on it, so you can just pick one each day. So each day I'm doing these vlogs, I'm gonna pick one of these Dossier fragrances. So cute. Let's do this one. Gourmand Vanilla. So this one is the dupe for Vanilla Sex from Dossier, and I already have a bottle of it, but I don't mind having more. And it's nice to have a little travel thing. And yeah, this is super fun. I really recommend it if you still want to run out and buy one of these. I'll give you a description of Vanilla Sex. It is a sort of simple feeling vanilla that also has different complexities just under the surface. The Dossier version, it's a Tom Ford fragrance, Vanilla Sex. The Dossier version is a little bit more vanilla ice cream, so it's a little more rich and sweet. And the Tom Ford version is a little more subtle. It has vanilla, but it also has, and I think multiple kinds of vanilla, but it also has almond. It also has, I think, bitter almond, but to me it smells sweet. It also has licoricey smell, I think. It also has, I think, some tobacco in it because it smells like there's some of the tobacco vanille scent mixed into it, the Tom Ford tobacco vanille, but I don't think tobacco is listed in the notes. Yeah, so it has all of these different little kind of prickles of like, wait, what's that? And yeah, I think that the title is good because it's like just a vanilla, but it's sexy, and even vanilla sex is sex, you know. So I really like that fragrance, and like I said, I already have a bottle of the Gourmand Vanilla by Dossier because if I could, I would get the original just because I like that it's a little bit more subtle and smooth. But the Dossier Gourmand Vanilla is great too, and it's fun to get it in this advent calendar. And I realized I didn't describe what Angel Share really smells like. I describe more of like a textural and just general, that it's spicy and sweet and boozy. I'll tell you that the booze is cognac, I think. Yeah, the booze is cognac. The spice is cinnamon. It's a cinnamon blast for sure. It might have other spice, but it only lists cinnamon, and that's really what you smell primarily. And then it has sweetness from vanilla and praline and candy almond and sandalwood. But it's that cognac and that cinnamon, the top two notes, that are just like pow with that one. And then Camera has dates right there in the top, I think. Yeah, dates, praline. Oh no, those are middle notes. The top is still spice. It's cinnamon, but also nutmeg. So it's a little bit more complex spice smelling, not just a blast of cinnamon. And then it does have date as a lot of the sweet smell. And I think it might even have, no, it doesn't have, I was gonna say it might even have some sort of oudiness, but it has amberwood and akigala wood, but it doesn't have, oh no, it does. Akigala wood is oud. So yeah, really subtle oud, but it gives it that Middle Eastern depth to it. So that's the difference between the two. They're both these sweet, spicy fragrances. Karma doesn't have the liquor element, but it does have this dense, sweet spiciness that is similar. Cozy Adventures. Happy second day of Vlogmas. of my tiny Vlogmas, my 12 days of Vlogmas shorts. And I wanted to show you my New York Christmas sweatshirt. And so we are doing a whole exploration of Angel Share and Angel Share dupes and Angel Share inspired and Angel Share adjacent, because they're spicy and sweet and or boozy. Whole exploration during this 12 days of Vlogmas. And yesterday we did the original Angel Share, the original Camera, and Inner Angel from Bath and Body Works. And today we are doing Angel Share versus Karma Dukan and Honey Oud by Bella Vita. And when I first tried Honey Oud by Bella Vita, I was like, wait, this smells kind of like Karma Dukan. And what's interesting with that fragrance is that it's very non-linear. It has a whole up, down, and around experience wearing it. And it starts out more like a sweet oud, like which you don't smell in Karma Dukan or in Angel Share, but it's this kind of dark, woody oud that's warm and sweet. And yeah, nothing bitter about it. It's a sweet oud. And then it shifts into an Angel Share like smell, or a Camera like smell. And that one, the Camera that it smells the most like, is Karma Dukan. Very spicy and sweet. And then eventually it shifts in, like way later, like hours later in the dry down, it becomes this beautiful, sexy vanilla that has the little whispers of the oud and the Camera like spices. So that's Honey Oud. When I wear both of those and Angel Share at the same time, I realize the apple in the original Angel Share and the original Camera, because a lot of people immediately say it smells like apple pie, and it never did smell super appley to me, and I don't think they even have apple in their notes. But once I had it compared to the Dukan and the Honey Oud, it definitely has a hot, spicy apple pie compared to the Dukan tastes, if it's food, like the very inside of a cinnamon roll, like the most intense cinnamony part. So finishing up on Karma Dukan versus Honey Oud versus the original Angel Share. Karma Dukan, yeah, if it was a food, it'd be the very inside of a cinnamon roll, not the frosting, but the densest, almost savory part of the inside of a cinnamon roll with like really thick cinnamon, and a little gooey, and definitely still sweet. I know that Dukan has the addition of incense and tobacco, but to me it doesn't smell like an incensey or tobacco fragrance, so it just makes the blend a little different. It also has pimento, so it's a little bit spicier spice than just the cinnamon kind of spice. And it is a really sexy fragrance to me. Smooth and sexy and spicy and sweet. And in the deep dry down, it does have a little bit of the stale, sort of masculine smelling spice that I don't like at the very end, but like several hours into it, but it's still really yummy and I really like it. And the Honey Oud, I think I told you that the adventure that you go on with it. It starts oudy, like a sweet oud, then it goes to Angel Share Karma Dukan, really kind of spice. It doesn't have any apple pie element, and like sweet spice, and then it goes into a delicious vanilla, and then I think it kind of goes back into the spice too, so it goes around and back around, and I think the oud kind of at least to my nose, comes and goes as like something that's more featured, but it's always like blended into it pretty well. It's a really interesting fragrance. I don't think that one has as long of a wear as Angel Share or the Comras, but I recommend it. I think it's really interesting, and it features these different scents that I really love, all of them, like a sweet oud, Camera Ducan like smell, and a complex Middle Eastern sexy vanilla kind of smell. Yeah, that's what I have to say about those three. And now I'm gonna open my Dossier advent calendar of the day. This one is Orchid and Sandalwood at Dusk. Ooh. Since I don't know the fragrance, I'm gonna Hi Cozy Adventures, welcome or welcome back to my channel, and we are doing 12 days of Vlogmas with little mini short vlogs and exploring sweet and spicy and warm, cozy holiday scents during these 12 days. Specifically, mostly Angel Share dupes, Angel Share inspired, Angel Share adjacent. A lot of them are boozy as well, like a warm, spicy, sweet, boozy profile. And some of them are closer to it, and some of them are not like Angel Share at all, but still have the spicy, boozy sweetness going on. So today we are doing the Comras, all three Comras, and I got some spicy coffee going. It's like I put a tiny bit of sweetener in it because I just can't handle totally bitter coffee, but it's mostly a black coffee with a bunch of spices in it and some dates, because I watched some sort of influencer at some point trying out the Kawa and saying that it really smells like the morning coffee and dates that a lot of people in the Middle East have for their breakfast. So I'm gonna have this spicy coffee. Yeah, totally. It's like a mix of how those two taste together, or how the coffee smells and the dates taste. Yeah, when I first tried my tester of Kawa, the coffee was really bitter and stood out, the notes stood out. And now that it's sat for a few months and maturated, or some people say macerated, it is blended and is a harmonious, delicious coffee, date, spicy smell. Compared to Ducan, I think that it kind of smells like Ducan plus dates and coffee, rather than the original Karma plus dates and coffee, because it doesn't have that apple-y smell that the original has. And then the original Kamra, we're doing 12 days of Vlogmas, sweet, spicy, boozy, cozy scents related to Angel Share. So I'm doing all three Kamras today. And continuing on, I have the regular Kamra on this shoulder, and I have Angel Share on this shoulder. Yeah, Ducan and Kawa don't really smell, they smell the least like Angel Share, and I think the original Kamra smells the most like Angel Share because of that apple-y, but it doesn't have the booziness of Angel Share. And It's interesting. I really liked Dukan the most at first because it just smelled like so smoothly blended and sexy to me. And now, I think now that the other cameras have gotten to sit and blend, I might be more of a Kawa person and an original camera. Maybe Kawa. And then if I wanted something more like the original camera, I would go for the real Angel Share if money wasn't an object. So that's my review on those. All of them are nice and strong, have good projection, have sillage. All of them last a long time. So that is my camera exploration. And now I'm going to get my Dossier advent calendar out and pick a selection for today. So this is it. There's a nice big sample size of a different perfume every day for 12 days, so it's perfect to do with these vlogs. Oh, this is the Gourmand Vanilla. Okay, this is one I already opened. Ambery Saffron. So Ambery Saffron is the Baccarat Rouge 540 dupe for them, and it's really good. The Finery dupe is on the less sweet side, and this one is sweeter, but similar to Finery. It's like a blended version of the sort of journey that you go on with the original Baccarat Rouge. Instead, it's more linear. And it's a perfect Hanukkah scent. I did another video on it and I got 1,000 views because I think that Baccarat Rouge smells like Hanukkah because it has that savory, oily, some say French fry smell. Hi fellow cozy adventurers, welcome back to my 12 days of mini Vlogmas in my shorts here. And we are exploring various Angel Share dupes and inspired buys and sort of adjacent because they're spicy and sweet or spicy, sweet and boozy. And today what I'm testing are supposed to be pretty close dupes of it. So I have on Fire Your Desire by, I think, Paris Corner. Maybe I have it right here. Fire Your Desire. Oh, here it is. I think. Yeah. Paris Corner. Royal Blend and Sharaf Blend by Maya. Who's Royal Blend by? French Avenue. So yeah, and I accidentally sprayed one that I didn't mean to, so I'll give you a sneak peek on that one. And that is Fire on Ice. I was thinking it was Fire Your Desire, but it was Fire on Ice, which is a dupe more for Angel Share Paradise with the raspberry. I was like, wait, that doesn't smell like it. And then, yeah, realized. That one, it's been about 4 hours. And that one has perhaps largely faded away. However, I have so many sweet, spicy fragrances on my body, including the original Angel Share, which is still going strong here, that it might be anything that is less intense than the original Angel Share. I'm going a little bit anosmic too. The Sharaf Blend, is that what it's called? Yeah. The Sharaf Blend was immediately more vanillic in the air. Like when I smelled wafts of it, it smelled spicy and sweet and I could smell the booze, but it definitely smelled like a vanilla fragrance too in the air. And as it's been drying down, it's been more and more vanillic on my skin. So like right now, if it had smelled like this immediately, I would have thought, oh, that's nice warm vanilla with some spice. The Royal Blend, I heard someone else describe it as molecular. It doesn't have texture like the original Angel Share does. Cozy Adventures. So we're continuing on day 4 of my mini Vlogmas, and we are going into various close dupes of Angel Share. And what I'm sniffing right now on my hand is the original Royal Blend by French Avenue. And it is hard for me to detect now 4 hours later. It faded into more of a skin scent pretty quickly, but we have to acknowledge that I have Angel Share on this shoulder, I have Shroff Blend on this hand, I have the Fire Your Desire on as well. So I think anything that's more subtle, I'm just having a harder time smelling it. I am intrigued by this one. So I was saying at the end of my other video, it is more molecular, I think, which from what I kind of understand, it actually makes it more smooth because it doesn't have the texture of like actual cinnamon or actual cognac. It has this like smoothed out, like sort of molecule scents that are blended really well and more subtly. It had a similar smell in a way, but yeah, just such a different texture to Angel Share that I wouldn't call it a close dupe in that way. I think it also had a little bit more vanilla in the air than Angel Share does. Angel Share definitely blasts out cinnamon and cognac and sweetness. So yeah, I'll have to try it someday when it's the only one I'm wearing, and I am excited about it because my boyfriend is pretty sensitive. I'm sensitive to some fragrances and not others, and my boyfriend is pretty sensitive to stronger fragrances. He's been okay with Angel Share though by the time he sees me, which is usually in the evening after it's been on my body all day and it's like more subtly left over. But I'm thinking maybe the Royal Blends would be okay to wear around him. And Fire Your Desire, that one actually smelled the most similar to Angel Share as far as like the note for note matching up. But it was pretty weak, like it faded away, not completely, but a lot pretty quickly, like within the first hour. But maybe it needs to age. Hi Cozy Adventures. So to wrap up my experiment today with several close Angel Share dupes, I think Royal Blend has this very smooth, lighter texture, like more airy texture than Angel Share. So it has a lot of the same notes, but the texture is completely different. But also would be probably nice for a lot of people that have more sensitive smellers to like punchy fragrances. And the Shroff Blend is more vanillic. It has more of the dates, like the Camera like date stuff, but it does not, unlike Camera, it does still have the cognac in it. So in some parts of the wear, it smelled the most like Angel Share because it has more of the texture, like Angel Share mixed with Camera, and with more vanilla than either of them, really. And what was the other one? Fire Your Desire, to me, is the closest to Angel Share in a lot of ways, like just being so note for note with it, but it is a lot weaker, like a third as strong in a way. But I am curious if I had like a whole bottle of these, which I don't, if I sprayed them out and let them sit and age for months and months, they'd probably become a lot stronger. The only one out of these three that's strong is the Schroff blend. And the strongest thing about the Schroff blend is the vanilla, because the other parts kind of fade to the background. The cognac and the spice fade more to the background after a few hours. They're all good. I didn't dislike any of them. And yeah, from looking at some reviews, it does look like if you age the bottles of these other ones, of the Royal Blend and of the Fire Your Desire, like if I were to buy bottles now and wait until next winter to wear them, they'd probably be a lot stronger and closer to the original Angel Share. And now I want to open my nativity calendar, my advent calendar, my Dossier advent calendar, and I think this one I haven't done yet. It is milky white, and that's one I haven't smelled before, so that's exciting. I don't really know what it's supposed to be like. Interesting. Fun. Hi Cozy Adventures, welcome back to my Vlogmas videos. And today, I think when you watch this, it's the first night of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate. These are actually a good fragrance for Hanukkah. And I've talked about how Baccarat Rouge to me is a good Hanukkah fragrance, because with imagination, it smells like latkes and donuts, soufflé, because it has both that smell that people think smells like French fries, and it has the sweet cotton candy-ish smell and sort of ambery spice that together could be thought of as donutty. So that's a good Hanukkah scent. And then the other two that I suggested were the Milk Bar and Bath and Body Works collab fragrances of cinnamon sugar pretzel cookie being the donut, and raspberry holiday pie bar being the inside of the donut for those jelly donuts, the soufflé, that are popular during Hanukkah. And the fragrances I'm doing today are a spicy raspberry fragrance, or not even that spicy. Royal Blend Sequoia and Lataffa Fire on Ice is what I'm comparing today. And they are related to Angel Share Paradise, which I don't have, unfortunately, to compare with. But I've been comparing with the regular Angel Share, which I do have. And of these two, I like the Lataffa Fire on Ice better, because it still has more cinnamon, whereas Royal Blend doesn't even list cinnamon or spice in it. So I think that makes it a flatter, just less attractive, less interesting smell to me. It still has the cognac. It's got cognac and raspberry liqueur. Both of them start with that, as does Angel Share Paradise. But the Lataffa one still has the cinnamon in it, and I think that gives it a much better blend. Also, the original, I was just looking at the notes, has tonka and vanilla, and I think I would prefer that better, because that tonka, the coumarin, gives this enveloping feeling that I really love and look for in a cozy holiday kind of scent. And neither of these have that, really. I put them on several hours ago, and as far as I can tell, they're not projecting much anymore, but I also don't have anyone else in the room besides my dog, who can't give me feedback, unfortunately. Anyway, happy Hanukkah. And continuing on with my daily advent calendar from Dossier. Let's see the scent for the day. It's got 12 days, which is perfect, because that's how many days I'm doing of Vlogmas vlogs. And fragrance today is Floral Marshmallow, which I don't have, and I haven't tried on skin, so it'll be fun. It is a dupe for Kilian's Love Don't Be Shy, which I also now have a sample of, and I'll have fun exploring it, probably in January going up to February, I'm going to be doing a lot of marshmallow strawberry, and this one's marshmallow orange blossom, I think. So it can kind of fit in with that. I know I smelled it in store and it's like more floral than what I like usually. But I'll have to see what the dry down's actually like on skin, because I think a lot of people who have similar taste to me, who like more gourmand fragrances, really like this one. So I'll have to wait and see. But happy Hanukkah. Oh, and I forgot to say, the reason why the Royal Blend Sequoia and Fire on Ice and Angel Share Paradis are good Hanukkah scents is because they have this like cozy boozy thing with this raspberry, like, and some of them have spice in them too. So it's got this donutty thing that you could think of, with the boozy spicy part is the donut, and then the raspberry liqueur would be the inside, so it'd be a good soufflognon like fragrance. Hi Cozy Adventures. Continuing on with my 12 days of Vlogmas, looking at Angel Share and related schmoops and inspired bys and adjacently related, because they're warm and spicy and sweet. And today I'm gonna look at apple pie, but not boozy or super spiced, and give you a few options that I have that maybe you have around that you can play with this holiday season. I got this vanilla orange cinnamon oil from bodyscents.com, and it is more like just pure vanilla orange and cinnamon fragrance. I think it's essential oils too, and it's a great base for whatever apple pie you're trying to make. So is this Sweet Essentials perfume oil, which I don't know if they have more of right now in the pumpkin pie scent. So that is a nice, and both of these I'm not allergic to, which is nice. I don't get a sore throat from. So just in mixing those, there's already the basis for a good apple pie. And then there's things you can add. There's my favorite Al Rahab, the Love Apple, which is one of my favorite fragrances I've smelled. Even though it's so inexpensive, to me it smells like hot apple cider. So with those layers of other warming spices, and this on top would be a perfect apple pie. And it's spiced, but it is not heavily spiced. But it feels warm and holiday-ish and has that Middle Eastern ambery thing going on. And then my other faves that I found are Noble 1942 La Danza del Belgul. And this is another one that's like very apple pie without it being boozy or a blast of spice. It does have some spice, but it's more of a vanilla with apple and a little cinnamon. So it tastes like more fresh apple pie, whereas Angel Shares is like dark, boozy, not a bright apple smell. And then this Village Bakery scent by Poesi smells like pie crust to me. They say it's milk bread, but to me it's the perfect sort of to add to any apple fragrances you might have. Another one you could try if you have is Casablanca, or you could use the apple fragrances from Kayali or Badi Al Oud. and then add some more warming spice kind of fragrance, or this like pie crust kind of fragrance. I also have Mother Ginger by Poesi, which is a delicious gingery smell that you can add to your apple pie. It smells kind of molassesy too to me. Like molasses cookies, even more than like gingerbread. But it definitely has the gingeriness in it too. And Ginger Babe by Paris Corner. That one, we can add that one in. I'm gonna smell so good. Ginger Babe, I think, smells like ginger biscuits, like less molassesy like gingerbread and more like little ginger snaps. And Vue Patisserie is the last one that I'll highlight, and it really smells like a French patisserie version of apple pie. Like more of that flaky crust, a little bit of spice, and some apple and a little citrus. The citrus to me just smells like a little bit of citrus added to brighten up the apple. I know some people smell the orange more than I do, but to me it's more of an apple fragrance. So yeah, Vue Patisserie is a perfect apple pie for the holidays smell without it being a super intense spice or a boozy fragrance. Hi, Cozy Adventures. Thanks for coming back for my 12 days of Vlogmas. And I'm going back to my my Advent calendar by Dossier. And we're picking a fragrance for today. I think this one I already did. I'll do a little fold down. All right. Ambery Cherry. So this is the Lost Cherry dupe, and Ambery Cherry and Ambery Saffron, the Lost Cherry and the Baccarat Rouge, were my first Dossier loves in store, and I have bottles. I have a small thing of the Ambery Saffron, and I have a larger bottle of Ambery Cherry now, and this just gives me another travel sized little sample of it. But yeah, in my perfume journey so far, that's stayed one of my favorites. And that particular, I tried various dupes, and that's my favorite for Lost Cherry. There might be one other that I really liked, but I can't remember it right now. I think this is really the best one. A lot of the other ones there's like a lot of hidden things in Lost Cherry, but it's so smooth you kind of just smell the cherry, this sort of like weirdly kind of depthful, sexy, spicy, boozy cherry, but it just smells like a cherry. It doesn't smell like a bunch of different notes. And Tom Ford does that a lot, where it's just blended so well you can't really get the different notes that are put in. And he also doesn't offer up very many of his notes, I think because he knows that everyone's going to dupe him. And yeah, a lot of the other dupes for it will be too heavy on some sort of incensey note, or the cherry won't be right, or yeah, even kind of a tobacco-y spice that ends up kind of overwhelming it. Yeah, so cool. I recommend that one, and I recommend this calendar. It's fun. Cozy Adventures, welcome back to my 12 days of Vlogmas. I'm here with Lucy. And today I am trying a couple of warm, cozy, spicy, boozy fragrances that are not Angel Share dupes or inspired really, but they're like adjacent. So the first one is Mauve Appletini by I think Paris Corner, and on paper or at first sniff I was like, oh, I like that. It's like similar to these Angel Share, like the appley Angel Share like fragrances, but brighter and kind of cleaner smelling, but still in a sweet way. But on skin, I can understand what people were saying who said it was too masculine for them. It has something that's got like an aftershave like element, and I don't know what that is exactly. Like, it reminded me of my dad's aftershave when I was a kid. So I don't know what that is. It's like something a little astringent and bitter. It might be because the spice in it is just cardamom, I think, and cardamom and bergamot mixed together maybe are the most intense top notes. I'm trying to remember what the liquor is in it. It's not vodka like an Appletini would be. Let's see if I took a picture of it. No, I didn't. Shoot. Appletini. Paris Corner. I wish that Fragrantica had an app. I find it hard to always use the web, and it has so many pop-up things. Okay, it has brandy and rum, and it has some pineapple in it. That's part of what sweetens it, and moss and cedar. But yeah, those top notes are cardamom and bergamot, and I think that stays strong throughout it, and there's no other spice listed. So I think cinnamon makes a lot like sweeter, spicy smell. There also is some vanilla, so as it dries down it gets sweeter and you smell that, but it still has this like sort of astringent thing that I get in my nose, and which is usually a bergamot kind of smell. So that is Paris Corner Appletini, and I think some people would really like it the most out of all the things I'm looking at if you like a fresh and more masculine leaning fragrance. Hi Cozy Adventures, welcome back to my 12 days of Christmas. I was talking about Mauve Appletini, which is a Paris Corner fragrance, as something that's like somewhat adjacent to Angel Share. I put a little Angel Share on my shoulder. I like to have a little angel on my shoulder to compare. And yeah, Angel Share is just so warm and sweet and cinnamony, like a cinnamon blast. And so they smell like they could be relatives, like the Appletini fragrance could be like the uncle that you're not actually related to that's married to your aunt. that amount of related. So I was saying that it has more of a masculine aftershave-y smell to it in a way. It's brighter, cleaner and brighter, so like kind of a little soapy smell possibly. It's not a bad smell at all. So I think if like Angel Share is too like dense and too kind of feminine smelling to you, too cinnamon, but you still want that boozy appley smell, and you like the more masculine leaning, like a brighter smell, then you might love this one. I also accidentally layered something with it at some point because I was touching a lot of different perfumes and I don't know what it was, but suddenly I was like, oh, that smells so much better. Yeah, something with more like rich vanilla. I can smell it on my finger. And that made it smell like more unisex, I guess, to me, like more attractive to me and not just like aftershave. So it might be a great one for layering too. And then the other one I put on today is a Spiced Irish Cream by Hey Sugar. They're the ones that do Bianca Latte, and it's actually a really good dupe, I think. It really gives me it gives me what I want out of a Bianca Latte dupe. And the Spiced Irish Cream is so strong. I put one spray on my chest It's faded now. It's been 4.5 hours. I would say the apple teenies actually stayed stronger than this one, but at the beginning and for a few hours, this was so strong and sweet and thick. It was like a Irish cream creamer, like that you'd put in a coffee, like that thick, sweet texture. And it's got the regular Irish cream smell of the whiskey mixed with vanilla and cocoa and whatever else is in there, coffee-ish kind of smells, mixed with like an Irish whiskey and then some added spices. Hey Cozy Adventures. So we're gonna look at my dossier advent calendar today. It's got 12 days of it and I'm doing 12 days of Vlogmas, so that's perfect. And we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're on 7. Free the musk. Okay, another one that I haven't smelled yet and I don't really know anything about. I wonder if it's supposed to be like those ones that really depend on your body chemistry and are just a couple musky molecules. But I think just smelling it in the bottle, it smells good to me. But we'll see what it's like. Yeah, I'll spray it. See what I think. And for those who are following my 12 days of Vlogmas, I do have more Angel Share dupes coming up. So I'll be going through some other spicy boozy fragrances and then go back to some Angel Share dupes because I was waiting for stuff to come in the mail. One of them is actually Dossier. Okay. I don't like it that much. But who knows? I don't know how it'll dry down. Yeah, it's very musky. Hi y'all. I just really need to try the Vanilla Aura. I just got a decant in, and so I thought I would do it on camera since it's been such a hot topic, and just do a first impression on my arm. In between my Vlogmas posts. Now I got a lot on my arm. Yeah, it's got that cream soda / root berry smell. I can't imagine that it actually smells that much like Guerlain because, well, I'll see how the dry down is, but it doesn't have this like super thick, rich vanilla, and that's what Guerlain does with their vanillas. It's got like the Guerlain's. I haven't smelled the Guerlain that this is duping, the Vanilla Planifolia, Vanille Planifolia. So I can't compare in that way, but I can compare just knowing from the Guerlains that I have tested that their vanillas are usually like really depthful, but I'm betting this is actually a little better than the Vanilla Folia one that I tried, because this smells a little bit more complex and a little bit deeper vanilla. I like it. Hi Cozy Adventures. Welcome back to my channel for my 12 days of Vlogmas, wherein I'm mostly exploring Angel Share and Angel Share dupes and Angel Share adjacent, Angel Share inspired, and other kind of more distant relatives that are boozy and spicy, primarily in these 12 days. I'm also going to do some By the Fireplace and By the Fireplace dupes at some point in the 12 days. So today is the first night of Hanukkah, so I'm decked out. In my family, we do Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, and I do the solstice So lots to celebrate this winter, and I decided for first night of Hanukkah, even though you'll see this a few days later, for on Kismet Magic, that would be a good first night of Hanukkah scent, because Kismet is a word used by a lot of Jewish people to mean fate, or a sort of a magical luck and fate. So Kismet Magic, it used to be called Kismet Angel, and they must have gotten some pressure to change it, maybe too close to Angel Share. But it actually smells like Angel Share, it really does. It doesn't have as intense of a blast of the cinnamon and the cognac in the beginning, that sort of hot, like warm feeling that you get from a liquor and from like a blast of cinnamon. But it is still strong and sweet, and it just has such a similar smell. It's not as strong, but it is probably the most similar of anything I have tried. So that's Kismet Magic. I'm also trying out Ambery Oakwood today, which is the Dossier. And this is more like an inspiration than a dupe, I think. It has cognac and cinnamon in the top notes, but it also has candied fruit, which I think makes it smell kind of a lot different. And it also has coffee in the middle notes, but it doesn't smell like kawa. It doesn't have that date and coffee richness that kawa has. So I'll have to spend more time with it. I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping it would smell more like Angel Share, because their dupes are usually so good. But yeah, this is much more of an inspired by than a close dupe, although it still has that cognac and cinnamon top note. And then I am trying Toasted Halo, which is by Sugar Company, I think. I'll put it in the comments. They're the ones that do Bianca latte. And this one dries down more like in that like sexy Middle Eastern vanilla kind of smell. Okay, Cozy Adventures. So we just did a few more schmoops and inspired buys of Angel Share, and now we're going to do the Dossier Advent Calendar selection of the day. Let's see. Looks like I haven't done this one yet. So it has 12 days of perfume samples, nice size perfume samples. And today's is Gourmand White Flowers, which I think is Flower Bomb. I think that's what it is. Let's see if I can smell it without. Let me spray. I'm curious. Yeah, I don't have the perfume this is duping, but I think I'm right about what it is. But it's nice. See you tomorrow at Cozy Adventures. Welcome back to my 12 days of Vlogmas, where I am testing various Angel Share and adjacent fragrances. And today are 3 kind of random ones that are sweet and boozy, and some of them are kind of spicy and some of them aren't. One of them actually I think I'm going to introduce to you in a couple days instead of with these. I'll try it again. It's the something Bourbon Brulee by Leda, and that ended up really reminding me of By the Fireplace. So like if By the Fireplace was bourbon-y, I think it would smell a lot like Bourbon Brulee. It has that same like charred wood kind of smell and intense sweetness. So I'm gonna bring it back up in a couple days. But I have Narcotica Dolce Diablo, which I only have this tiny vial of. It's a really expensive perfume. And this one has, I think, 2 liquors. I should have it pulled up. I think it has both rum and bourbon, or rum and, oh no, it's rum and whatever Angel Share has in it. Cognac. I've done so many days of these and I still like space out when I try to talk about them. So it's rum and cognac. It also has 2 different kinds of chocolate smells in it and 2 different kinds of apricot smells in it. There's like a dried apricot note and a fresh apricot note. So it has some brightness from that fruit, but it also has really nice coziness from the cocoa boozy smell. It's unique and I keep smelling it. Like from all the fragrances I have on me right now, this is the one that I keep sniffing. And I think it does project well, like makes a nice scent bubble. And then I did Brown Girl Jane today, Casino. And that I didn't know was going to be like Amore Cafe, the Mancera, which I really like. So it has, I think, coffee liqueur with like ice cream in it, plus rum. Does it have rum? It has some various kinds of liqueur. Whatever it was, I couldn't tell just reading the notes that it was coffee, so I really wasn't expecting it, but it's yummy. Continuing with today's Vlogmas vlog, I was telling you about Brown Girl Jane Casino, which has rum and coffee and ice cream. It smells like cake too. That's this one. But it all comes together to smell a lot like Amore Cafe, Paris Amore Cafe, which is a Mancera perfume that I really like. And Narcotica Dolce Diablo, which has apricot, chocolate, and rum and cognac. And it also smells like cake to me. I think that is the vanilla and the tonka bringing this like sweetness underneath the liquor smells and the kind of darker chocolate smells. I keep saying smells instead of saying notes, but I guess that's the way my brain actually thinks when I'm checking these out. And then the other one I'm going to tell you about is Zimaya's Sharaf Divine, which is Zimaya's version of a Angel Share Paradise schmoop, I believe. And I did a couple other schmoops for that perfume a couple days ago, which you can check out. Just looking through my 12 days of Vlogmas. And this one just came, so I'm trying this one too. And I think the difference with this one is it has a lot of cinnamon, and the other schmoops I smelled for this one did not. One of them didn't have it at all, and one of them had it, but it wasn't so strong. And this keeps that strong cinnamon from the Angel Share DNA, but adds raspberry and bergamot. It's this sort of brighter smell. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. And if you like Angel Share, but you want something that's more kind of bright, keep you awake, uplifting, and you like those brighter smells like bergamot, then this will probably be more up your alley than like the original Sharaf blend is Angel Share like, but also really, really vanillic, and it is much more sort of dreamy and cozy. And this is totally cozy, but it has that brightness of the raspberry. And now I'm going to do the Fragrance Wonderland Dossier Advent Calendar. Let's see what sample I'll get today. Oh, I did that one yesterday. Woody Sandalwood. Hi, Cozy Adventures. I am continuing with my 12 days of Vlogmas, and today we're continuing to look at sweet, spicy, boozy, cozy fragrances that are Angel Share and adjacent. And today's are more distant relatives of Angel Share, like the naughty cousins, the super naughty cousins. We're doing Initio perfumes, or parfums, Side Effect, and Narcotic Delight. And does it say the collection? I think the collection is called something like something naughty. These actually do both have an element to them that relates them to Angel Share. Narcotic Delight has cognac as one of its main notes, so you get the Angel Share element of cognac. And it also has some spice. The main ones that are listed are pepper, but I think that the Initio fragrances have a lot of notes that aren't listed a lot of the time. It opens with some cherry and some, what I smell is black pepper, but it also has pink pepper and cognac and a kind of cigar smell. But it does have vanilla beans, so it sweetens up and the pepper smooths out during wearing. But it always has, I guess what my nose smells, a somewhat masculine pepper element, black pepper element to it. And that also kind of brightens it up and makes it a little bit less cozy to me, that pepperiness. The cherry is almost kind of in the background. It's not a very loud cherry, but it's there, and at certain whiffs, the main smell that I get just in the air will be a cherry, like a sort of dusty cherry or like a tobacco-y cherry. So that's Narcotic Delight. And then Side Effect, what it has in common with Angel Share is like warm spices. It has cinnamon. The liquor in it is rum, and it doesn't list it, but I smell oud. So Initio also does oud for greatness, and I smell the oud for greatness oud in it, as well as a sort of Angel Share like spiciness and rum. So today's advent calendar for Vlogmas selection is this one. Let's see. It's a dossier advent calendar if you haven't been following me. And it has 12 days of nice sized samples of different fragrances. So I've been opening one each day. I do my little Vlogmases. Okay, this one is Tantalizing Red, which is another one I haven't ever smelled and that I was curious about. Let's do it on a tissue. Smells sweet in the air. Is it cherry? It smells like cherries and lipstick and high heels, but sweet. I'll have to look up the notes. I'll see you tomorrow. Cozy Adventures, welcome back to my mini Vlogmas vlogs. And today I am doing Altair by Parfums de Marly and a couple of dupes. I've been waiting until I got the original Altair in the mail to try out the dupes. I already sprayed it on this arm, but I haven't sprayed the dupes yet. Let's do Vanilla Dunes and Liquid Brune. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm doing Angel Share and adjacent warm, spicy, sweet, and or boozy kind of fragrances. And this is the last one. It's definitely not a close relative to Angel Share. It's its own DNA, but it is cozy, warm, spicy, this time of year kind of scent. Leans a little bit masculine. It's kind of a dry spice, but it's also sweet. So let's try Vanilla Dunes. I think it might be by Codlage. I'll look it up and write it down in the description, or maybe I'll just look it up right now. Vanilla. Whoever this decant is from, they didn't put it on the bottle. Yeah, it is. Codlage. Yeah, initially it really has the same smell in the air. Very close. And Liquid Brune. Liquid Brune initially in the air isn't as strong, but when I go in closer, I smell it. Yeah, they really all smell the same. And this is an initial reaction for you, so we're not getting longevity and stuff, but I think from hearing other people's opinions, it does have good longevity. How to describe it? It makes sense to me that it would be called Vanilla Dunes by Codlage because it smells almost sandy. It has a dryness to it. Even though there's a sweetness, the spice is sort of muted and dry. It's kind of a muted, dry vanilla and spices scent. It's enjoyable. It's subtle. My Cozy Adventures, now we are doing today's Dossier Advent Calendar selection. There's 12 days in this Advent calendar, so 12 different samples of Dossier fragrances, and I'm almost to the end, so we're at the 11th day. Ambery Vanilla. Now this one I've smelled in store. It's supposed to be like black opium, which I don't like that much, but I haven't tried any of the black opiums or the ambery vanilla on skin, so it'd be really interesting to see what happens when I do. Like, if trying to find a place on my skin that I could spray it where I don't have anything. Let me let it dry down. I'm not. I just tried Altair and Liquid Brune and Vanilla Dunes, so that's really in the air, so I'm not really gonna get a good idea of the smell right now. Yeah, forget that. Oh, I wanted to add about the Altair and schmoops of it that one of the sweet elements of it is orange flower, orange blossom. So it has that element in it too. It's this dry, sandy vanilla and spices with some light sweet orange blossom, and it does have, yeah, I said the vanilla already, but the vanilla is not creamy or rich. It's somehow powdery and dry, and not powdery like girly powdery like sand almost, with the vanilla and the spices. And then this orange flower sweetness. Really interesting. I like it. Hi Cozy Adventures. I just want to add an update on the dry down of Altair and the 2 schmoops I was trying as part of my 12 days of Vlogmas sweet and spicy fragrance exploration. I think what I said in my initial video when I first was spraying them, that they all pretty much smelled the same to me on my skin. Had a similar sort of dry, sandy, not sandy like it has like a texture, but I guess in a way it just has this dry, powdered but not powdery like makeup powder or anything version of spice that it starts with, and like a little bit of vanilla, but they don't smell like vanilla perfumes to me at all as a vanilla person. They smell like these like kind of subtle spice perfumes with just a little bit of vanilla under it. And they have orange blossom too, so I think the sweetness feels largely from the orange blossom and less from the vanilla to me in the beginning. But then the dry down really surprised me, and it doesn't happen until like after, it doesn't start until after 3 hours, and it doesn't really get as intense until like 4, 5, 6 hours. And that is that Island Vanilla Dunes by Collage becomes more and more intensely vanillic. Like the vanilla breaks through that sandiness and it becomes just a much stronger, almost vanilla ice cream. Like if it was a sandy dune and the smell initially was the sandy dune, it'd be this like ball of ice cream pushing up from the sand. Or like a geyser coming up from the sand in the desert of like vanilla ice cream. Yeah, it's not even at its full intensity right now, but it really becomes a different perfume, that one. The other ones are more linear. They sweeten up just a little bit. But they stay like this subtle, dry, sweet, spicy scent that they start out with. So I thought you should know, because I was like recommending Vanilla Dunes because it actually started out a little bit less sweet to me than the other ones to a friend. And then as it dried down, I was like, oh no, it's way too sweet for them. And like, I don't think my boyfriend would wear it because it would become, it like projects out such a sweeter smell, at least on my skin. I'd be curious to see if it was different for different people. Cozy Adventures. Welcome back to my last day of 12 days of Vlogmas, where I'm exploring various cozy, sweet and spicy, a lot of them boozy fragrances. And today it's not only my last day of Vlogmas, but it's the last night of Hanukkah, and it is the winter solstice. And so I have my winter solstice witch hat on, and I have my Vlogmas Christmas hat on, and I have my happy Lamika Hanukkah sweater on because I'm celebrating all of them today with you. And as we're celebrating the beckoning in of the light, so the winter solstice is that day right in between the darkest night and when the light starts coming back, when we start getting a little bit later and later, we have daylight again. And then it's also like metaphorically for the Christian Christmas, it's the light coming in, the light of this Savior. And for Jews, it's a new candle each night, bringing more and more light into the darkness, and the miracle of oil lasting a lot longer than it was supposed to keep those lights burning. So all of that to say, today we are celebrating all of those things, and I thought a good fragrance to explore along those lines is Fireside by the Fireside by Replica. And I have two schmoops for it. I have the new Finery Fireside Vanille and the Dossier Woody Chestnut. And then I found another fragrance that I have a sample of that that felt like it was really part of the family too. So I'll say all of them have two different phases. There's one where it's got a really strong burning wood smell, or for me it's really strong, very smoky. And then there's a time when it kind of dissipates and it's got both the smoky and the sweet. And then for, I think all of them, eventually it's just the sweetness left. I think the Fireside Vanille maybe always has a little bit of the smoky, but it also starts out the sweetest. This one has cinnamon in it too, listed in the notes, rather than just a clove in the others, and I think that sweetens it up. I really liked this one from the beginning, but then I was sad that it got so smoky. Hi, Cozy Adventure is back talking about By the Fireside and some schmoops for that. So we've got Woody Chestnut and Finery Fireside Vanille. And I also have a couple of options for making these fragrances either sweeter or and like more marshmallowy or cocoa-y, or smokier, because they do get sweet at the end. And if you want it to just stay really kind of darker smoky wood throughout the whole wear, I have a good one to add. So I was saying Fireside Vanille starts a little sweeter than the other two, and it had an extra dimension, I think, with cinnamon, and it almost smelled like a liquor was in it too. Like the one that's not a By the Fireside dupe that I feel like is part of this family that I was trying is Letta Bourbon Brulee, and it has that same like smoky wood smell, but if you added bourbon to it, to the sweet part, and then you had that smokiness, and the smokiness is a little more subtle and it stays throughout the whole wear rather than dissipating by the end. By the Fireplace, I always forget what it actually is. By the Fireplace, like I am here. Pretty much all of them by 4 hours are mostly sweet with a little smoky tinge. They don't have the blast of smoke that they started out with. I think the Dossier actually starts with the most intense blast of smoke for me, the least sweetness to start with, and it stays that way for a couple hours, but then it dissipates quicker, the smokiness. So it actually sweetens up the quickest out of these three. And the things that I suggest to make these sweeter, if you want it to be more like that toasted marshmallow hot cocoa and a little less of the burning wood, Bodycology Cozy Fireside S'more is marshmallow, sandalwood, and chocolate, and it has a little smokiness to make the marshmallow smoky, but it's a lot sweeter. So if you use this body mist, and then top it with one of these perfumes, you'll be a little sweeter. It'll make it a little more marshmallowy. And then Al Rahab's Choco Musk and Marshmallow Choco Musk would be great layers for sweetening it up. And then if you want it to be smokier, like dark and smoky throughout the whole thing, Dossier's Rum and Amber, Golden Rum and Amber is a perfect thing to add. To finish up with By the Fireplace discussion, Yognog is another one that feels somewhat related. I don't know why. It doesn't list marshmallow, or it does have clove bud. It says cinder toffee, which I don't know if that's a smoky. It has a little bit of acidic smell to it that I kind of don't like when lactonic fragrances go a little sour. It has a little bit of that, but I feel like that layered with some of these would be yummy too if you have it, to make it a little extra Christmassy, add a little more spice. And it just feels part of the same family, so it should go along well. And then I wanted to open this while we're in the last day of Hanukkah in honor of my Jewish grandma, Gaga, is what we called her. This lemon poppy cake from Sugar Milk Company. And lemon poppy seed cake is totally something I only ever had really when she made it. So to me, it's a total like Jewish grandma Hanukkah dessert, even though it doesn't have anything to do with this particular holiday. Yum. Yeah, it's pretty photorealistic. Sugar Milk Company has a lot of things that, like a lot of gourmands, that are pretty photorealistic. I love their Princess Buttermint to get my peppermint perfume fix. Because there's not a lot of them, as far as I can tell. Because I think a lot of people don't really like a peppermint smell because they associate it with toothpaste, but I love a nice sweet peppermint. And even like a less sweet peppermint, I would like. Anyway, let's do the Dossier last fragrance of the Advent calendar, the 12 days of Dossier fragrance calendar. And this one. Winter Kiss. Winter Kiss I'm actually going to talk about later this week. I think I already talked about it, but it's got a hot cocoa and I think rum, but it's complicated. It doesn't smell like simple cocoa smell like Choco Musk. It has a lot of spice and it has almost a little bit of a masculine leading to me, but I think it layered with the Choco Musk or the marshmallow Choco Musk like sweetens it up perfectly. And the EOS chocolate cashmere, cocoa cashmere with this is really, really good. If you're curious, Winter Kiss from Dossier. And happy holidays, everybody. Cozy Adventures. Today I'm gonna do a few ideas for smelling like milk and cookies for Santa. And it can be milk and cookies, it can be hot chocolate and cookies, it can be a boozy eggnog and cookies, but that whole theme. I already did a few that were like gingerbread, so you'll have to look back at some of my other Vlogmas vlogs to see those, but these are, I have almond cookies and milk, chocolate chip cookies. I've got something that's supposed to be like hot chocolate, a few things that are supposed to be like hot chocolate, something that's like nog, and this one. Sometimes when I get samples, the writing on it fades away so much that I can't even read it. This one is from Fragrance World, Cream of Clouds. So I'll start with this one. This one really smells like milk and cookies to me. I don't think that that's what the notes are, like what it says it smells like, but that's exactly what it smells like to me. What kind of cookies? I don't know, kind of like the generic smell of cookies. Like if it was a plate of cookies, of sugar cookies and ginger cookies and chocolate chip cookies all in one place, and then maybe some warm milk. I feel like it smells more like warm milk with the cookies than cool milk. Or like a warm eggnog that's not spiked. So I'm not getting the notes out, so you'll have to look them up for yourself. It's a mystery. But Cream of Clouds is a good milk and cookies. The next thing that I have is Dossier Winter Kiss, and this one is advertised as smelling like hot chocolate to me. It really doesn't, unless because it has so much spice and liquor and other things going on. But if you layer it with Choco Musk, regular Choco Musk, or marshmallow Choco Musk, and with the EOS cocoa cashmere, then it smells a lot more like a spiced hot chocolate, like a Mexican hot chocolate. I think I talked about it here before, but that is a great thing to include in your milk and cookies for Santa scent, with milk and cookies for Santa scents, and ideas for layering. I know a lot of you won't have like these specific scents, but you might have things like them and you can layer them and make a yummy milk and cookies scent for yourself. Yognog is another one that I think would be good with, like, it's got a cookie scent in it, but it also smells to me like eggnog, even though it's not really in the notes that it smells like eggnog. It does smell lactonic to me. And then the air, it smells more biscuity, British biscuits or cookies. And it has like nutmeg and I think some sort of liquor in it, like rum or something. So Yognog would be a yummy thing to include for your milk and cookies for Santa fragrance choice. And then I have Sugar Milk Company fragrances that I got samples of that I want to try while I'm here with you. And they're like a small business that has tons of pretty photorealistic gourmands that I appreciate. So chocolate chip cookie. Let's see. You know what this smells? I might not like their chocolate. This reminds me of in the like 80s when I was a kid, and there'd be like these scratch and sniff stickers. And whenever there was a chocolate flavored scratch and sniff sticker, it smelled like this. So it smells like an artificial chocolatey smell, but not like actual chocolate. Oh, but as it's on my skin, as it warms up to my skin, it gets a lot better. Okay, that makes more sense, because I was like, why would they make something that smelled? Okay, I feel like through the wear, it'll smell more and more like chocolate chip cookies, and it'll give a chocolate chip cookie fragrance bubble around you. So that one's pretty good. I'll have to see how long it wears and stuff, but these are usually like pretty middle of the road as far as lasting. They're not like super long lasting, but they're usually at least like several hours. This one is hard to open. These size samples that you have to pull the thing out are not great for people with dexterity issues. Almond cookies and milk. That one I recommend. It smells like what it says it is. And lastly, I have a chocolate milk, because probably a lot of times Santa would prefer you to shake it up a little bit and not just give a regular glass of cold milk or like soy milk like it would be at my house. Oh, okay. I think I just have like I think I have a reaction. Let's see, where can I put it that I don't have something else? I think I have a reaction immediately to their chocolate, but then like very quickly as it settles into my skin, that actually really does smell like chocolate milk. It's really good. Yum. Like, I think out of the three, that's probably the one I like the most, and that I might like order a whole bottle of, because I haven't really found a like favorite chocolate fragrance that really smells to me like photorealistic chocolate. Like Choco Musk actually smells a little more like vanilla to me. Like I get a little bit of powdered cocoa, but it's not like a really rich chocolatey smell to me. Ooh, okay, that's really good. I really recommend. And then the last one that everyone already knows is Bianco Latte, and this is the Christmas edition. I got it secondhand from someone. And to me it smells like cold milk, like very sweet cold milk. Like cold milk that's as sweet as ice cream, but not as thick and rich as ice cream. With like a little bit of like tiny little bit of caramel drizzled into the cold sweet milk. And it doesn't smell super lactonic to me either. It smells milky without like a heavy lactonic smell. It's not like a cream. Like in my childhood, my parents were always on diets, and my dad would get ice milk instead of ice cream, like a vanilla ice milk, and that's what more of what it is to me. It doesn't have the heaviness of like cream that a lot of Bianco Latte schmoops have, like a thicker creaminess. that is actually harder for me to wear, at least to bed. And this is like my favorite bedtime smell that feels light to me, even though it is like a really intense scent bubble. So happy holidays. I feel like I'm babbling on and on. Doing my little 12 days of Vlogmas was kind of dizzying. And now that I'm out of it, I'm like, okay, let me just like get all my content done for December, so that I can just totally take all my time off. And even though this isn't a job, I've kind of made it a little job for myself. So the last thing that I know I'm gonna do before I kind of finish up for the year is a battle of a few different Angel Share schmoops. Let's see, what are or two of them. Okay, so the Angel Share that I'm going to be battling and schmoops are Fire Your Desire by Paris Corner. I think it's Maison Alhambra for Kismet Magic or Kismet Angel, and then Angel Share, and like doing a little battle of all three of those, because those two were the ones that really won out as the closest for me to Angel Share of all of them that I tried. And then I'll be handing out awards of the best close schmoop of Angel Share, the best sort of inspired by but with a twist of Angel Share, the best one that was supposed to be like Angel Share Paradise, and I'll do my little awards for that. And I'll probably do a little sharing of unboxing some fragrances that are my holiday presents to myself. Fragrances. And then I'll sign out for the year. Anyway, happy holidays, everybody. Adventures. I am back looking at my top 2 Angel Share schmoops and comparing them to Angel Share, so that we can have a winner who reigns supreme. And I already know who it's gonna be, but I need to double check. So the top 2 schmoops that were the closest to Angel Share for me were Paris Corner's Fire Your Desire and Kismet Angel or Kismet Magic by Maison Alhambra. And so I am doing those two, and I had never tested those two together, so I hadn't compared them directly until today. And then I have Angel Share, the original, on my shoulder, because I like to have an angel on my shoulder. So this hand is the Kismet, and this hand is Fire Your Desire. And Kismet, let's see, I sprayed it a couple hours ago now, and Kismet is like blasting much stronger. It's the projection is much stronger and much closer to an Angel Share projection. The sweetness is closer to an Angel Share sweetness, and maybe a little bit more actually. But it's not sweet like a cloying sweet, it's sweet like a cozy sweet to me. Like a warm, spicy sweet. So yeah, the regular Angel Share, the original Angel Share, I'm smelling a little more of that appley note than the Kismet Angel. And I think Kismet Angel has something like cocoa in it or something too, which I don't really smell, but maybe adds to that spicy sweetness and maybe takes away a little bit of the what smells appley in the cognac part of Angel Share. I think that the apple part of Angel Share is like an appley cognac, something like that. So that's those two. And then Fire Your Desire projects way less. It stays a lot closer to the skin. It does have a really similar smell, but it doesn't have that intense blast of either spice or cognac to it. It also has, comparing directly with these other two, a little bit of maybe masculine leaning clean smell, whatever that is. Hi Cozy Adventures. So now that we have done the top 2 Angel Share Schmoops head to head, I am ready to give you the results of my Angel Share Best of awards. So first I'll tell you Angel Share Paradise. I just dropped one. Angel Share Paradise award goes to Fire Your Desire by Lattafa. And I didn't have a sample of Angel Share Paradise, so I can't tell you that it's the closest to the original, but I can tell you, for me, it was the best smelling. It has this really lovely balance of keeping the original Angel Share DNA with the spice and the cognac, but adding this bright tart raspberry that balances out that heavier, dense spice sweetness. So Angel Share Paradise Schmoop Award is Lattafa Fire on Ice. Next, I am doing Angel Share adjacent fragrances that have a twist and that are schmoops kind of, but definitely have a twist. They're not meant to smell exactly like Angel Share. And I have 2 options for that. One is Karamakawa. I love all the Kamaras. I recommend all the Kamaras. They each have a very different personality, and if you want to see more about what I think about them, you can look back at some of my other 12 days of Vlogmas vlogs that are specifically talking about these. But I really fell in love this last week with Karamakawa. When I first got this sample a few months ago, the coffee was very bitter and it wasn't well blended. And now that it's sat for a few months, it is blended to perfection. And I totally understand why it's a favorite of so many people. So it's got that depthful Angel Share-like, Kamra-like sweet spiciness, with the dates added for Kamra, and then with the coffee, and it's just delicious. So, and I'm allergic to Lattafas. I get a sore throat usually when I use them, so I haven't been using it, but if I didn't have that reaction, I'd be using it all the time because it is amazing. The other one in this category that I'm giving an award to is Sharaf Blend, and I think I'm less sensitive to it. It is a Zimaya fragrance, and it smells like Angel Share, but with this very strong vanilla that's very projecting. So like from the very beginning, you smell like when I smelled the hand that it was on, I still remember which hand it was on. Hi Cozy Adventures, I'm back finishing up my Angel Share awards. And I was talking about the Angel Share inspired buys that have a twist, that aren't meant to smell exactly like Angel Share. And the one that I was on that I'm giving my award to is Sharaf Blend by Zimaya. And this smells a lot like Angel Share, but with this strong projecting vanilla that gets stronger and stronger as you wear it. But even from the very beginning, a lot of the sillage from it, or the projection from it, is a vanillic one. I was like, wait, am I wearing a vanilla perfume? When I was testing the day that I was wearing this one. And as time goes on and the dry down happens, it gets even more, like the spice and the cognac go even more to the background, and it becomes more and more that those are just making it a more complex vanilla fragrance. And I love that. So it ends up being this very sexy Middle Eastern vanilla that you're wearing, even though it starts out with a lot of Angel Share like spice and cognac to it. So I really recommend it, the Sharaf Blend. And finally, drumroll, my top Angel Share schmoop that's actually the closest to Angel Share for me of all those that I tried is Kismet Magic. Yay! Or Kismet Angel if you have an older version of it. For me, it really is the closest, both in smell and in projection and like experience wearing it, and it lasts for a really long time. I noticed on the day that I was first testing this that I put it on in the morning, and even in bed later on that night I was still getting wafts of it. So I love this one. It is delicious, angel share like. I think the only difference that I really smell is that it smells a little bit less appley and a little bit more vanilla like. But otherwise they smell so similar, and it's got such a similar strength in the cinnamon and in the cognac. I would say that the cognac also in Angel Share is a little bit stronger, but I think because it's really an essence of actual cognac, because it's from a family that makes cognac, and that's a big drawing point to it. But yeah, the scents are just so similar. And I think I said that the Kismet might have cocoa in it, but it doesn't. I think it just has a little stronger vanilla, and that like makes it a little bit sweeter in a certain way. Yay!